This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Al Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. It is me, Hani Balkis, with Omnia Salah, bringing you everything you need to know about what's happening in the tech world and in the UAE. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot in store for you, especially when talking about the App Store and what's going on with WhatsApp.
Yes, indeed. WhatsApp has been making headlines. It has made a lot of noise on social media because a lot of people are surprised by the fact that they've changed their terms and conditions and that now they are choosing to share our information with Facebook. But what no one has expected for this to happen is the fact that WhatsApp group chat links have been seen again on Google search. So does this mean that our private conversations are no longer private?
Who knows? I mean, when you have a WhatsApp group link, you can just click on it and you are admitted to the group. But we're also talking about Intel and how they're launching a RealSense ID facial recognition tech that does use the company's depth sensing cameras. A lot of big words from a big company.
Yes, indeed. Coming up on the show as well, we're talking about one of the second biggest chatting platforms that have risen to the ranks in a very, very short amount of time. Signal has topped the free apps category on the App Store, and it has beat WhatsApp, surprisingly also right here in the UAE.
Now, we do know that Elon Musk has been pushing for the use of Signal, and we do know that Elon Musk is an influencer. Anything he talks about, whether it's the stock market or an app, it does skyrocket as he is the richest person in the world. But we're also talking about Apple and how they're going to launch a thinner, lighter, low-cost iPad this year.
Yes, indeed. In the world of apps, lots is happening as well with Facebook because they are planning to remove the like button from all public pages. What could this mean to all of their customers?
I don't know. I don't use Facebook, but what I do believe is that they kind of don't want to push the agenda where likes influence the mindset of people.
Yes, so are they changing their algorithm? Lots and lots is in store on today's show, so keep Pulse 95 locked and we'll be right back.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Your quick roundup of everything that is happening in the tech world, in the UAE and around the world. WhatsApp has been making headlines this past weekend, and it is definitely stretching into this week. But this time, it's not about WhatsApp being basically changing its terms and conditions, but rather WhatsApp being not as private as we want it to be, because WhatsApp group chat links are being seen again on Google search, and a lot of people are worried that their private groups have now become public.
Yes, indeed. Now, Google once again has gained indexed invite links to private WhatsApp group chats, meaning anyone can join various private chat groups with a simple search. Now, WhatsApp is making several private groups available across the web by indexing group chat invites, as their links can be accessed by anyone using a simple search on Google. So let's say, for example, on Google search, I type in Future Talk 95 group team group, right? And I search that on Google. There will be a link to that WhatsApp group chat, and then anyone who searched that index can click on it, and then they'll be prompted to WhatsApp and can join the group. Now, that is a big no-no, and that is a big privacy concern, because obviously some people use WhatsApp group chats for bigger and maybe even more important things.
Yes, indeed. But the thing that a lot of people are forgetting about is the fact that every group tends to have an admin. So I feel like as the admin of a specific group, you can still have access to who is participating in that group. Does it cause any privacy threats? Definitely it does.
Yes.
And this is exactly why independent cybersecurity researchers have actually shared different screenshots showing the indexing of WhatsApp group chat invites on Google. So it is a big thing. It's a big issue when it comes to privacy, especially from such a known social media platform.
Now, I do believe we should tackle this problem and criticize WhatsApp just like how we criticized Zoom.
Yes.
Now, Zoom, when we had the phenomena of Zoom bombing, Zoom was under a lot of pressure and a lot of fire because anyone can join these group chats. Now, when we're talking about Zoom, I do believe that Zoom is a more of a public and type of not interpersonal connection, because obviously when we go to the Zoom conferences, we're talking about Zoom conferences with business meetings, university students, etc. But now we're talking about WhatsApp. We're going interpersonal because all of us, and we can say all of us, have group chats with our family members across the world. So someone who is a stranger being opted to get into our group chat, that is a big no-no as an invasion of privacy. I mean, you did talk about, Omnia, how the admin has control over it. But when you have such a big group of 25 to 30 members, most of the time, the link, all you need is a link. Just join the link and you're good to go. I mean, I remember when my uncle, he wanted to give away his pet parrot. All he needed to do was go on Instagram, and there was a WhatsApp group link to click on, and he joined the group, and he gave away his pet parrot. Now, it can be used for good, and it can be used for bad. Now, obviously, the accessibility that anyone can join that group is a great accessibility. But at the same time, we're looking at when anyone can get a group link chat to my family group. That is a big no-no. Access to my pictures, access to a lot of things. And let's be real right now. A lot of older people don't know how to use WhatsApp that intensively to know whether or not a stranger has entered the group chat.
It's a double-edged sword, and you're definitely right about that, especially because nowadays a lot of sensitive content has been shared on WhatsApp. We're talking about everything from bank accounts, screenshots of your ID, your passport, you name it. It has been shared on WhatsApp. We do want to remind all of you that it's not the best platform to go ahead and share content on. And this is exactly why, because such catastrophes can happen. Now, recently, WhatsApp has faced the huge security crisis when over 4,000 links were inviting people to join private groups that have been indexed on Google. Now, such a big data breach has been causing a lot of people to lose trust in WhatsApp. Now, the links that users wish to share privately with people that they know and that they trust should not be posted on a publicly accessible website. But sadly, some people think that Instagram, Facebook, you name it, are private, and they go ahead and share all of those links on such platforms, which in the end causes them to regret it.
Now, WhatsApp in general has been under a lot of fire because obviously, number one, we talked about this before the beginning of the new year, 2021, how WhatsApp was forcing you to accept the new terms and conditions, thus creating a spiral downwards towards how private is WhatsApp. We had the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, say stop using WhatsApp. Now, Elon Musk's influence is huge. That's number one.
Oh, yes. If he says that the sky is green, everyone will believe that the sky is green.
And number two, we're looking at, yes, WhatsApp is becoming more and more public. Now, we do know world leaders, again, I'm talking about world leaders, use WhatsApp. U.S. President Donald Trump, Jared Kushner use WhatsApp, and their chats have been leaked to a Russian hacking agency in the past. So we're looking at WhatsApp is being used by a lot of big names, and these big names, the content that they exchange with one another, could be a security risk to the world.
Is it losing its place in comparison to Signal? This is definitely something that we're going to be tackling in just a few moments. But let's move on to talk a little bit about some positive news happening with Intel, and news that is making sure that our privacy is safe, because Intel has recently launched the RealSense ID, a facial recognition technology that is using the company's depth sensing cameras.
Yes, now Intel has launched RealSense ID, a facial recognition solution that relies on a RealSense depth sensing technology. Now, RealSense did start as a Kinect-style camera for a touch-free interaction, but now RealSense ID does seem like Intel's attempt to reposition its camera business towards secure on-device facial recognition first, while also potentially putting the company in the crossfire of controversy.
Yes, indeed. A lot of people have been using biometrics to access their bank accounts, to access their phones, and Intel is trying to fit itself into that competition because the device that they have created can basically learn and adapt to our faces over time. So it'll work around facial hair, it adjusts to the different skin tones, which in the past has been a big issue whenever we're talking about facial recognition. There has been multiple incidents of bias where facial recognition tech would recognize people who are white, but not people who are dark-skinned, and Intel is definitely working around it. It's also adjusting to people wearing face masks. So this tech is currently being worked on, and they're planning to integrate it into other products, and they're planning to also integrate it into their computers. For those of you who don't know, Intel is actually one of the biggest computer manufacturing companies, and Apple used to previously depend on Intel for all of its chips.
Yes, now Intel is one of the biggest, if not the biggest CPU manufacturer. Intel i7, i5. You've probably heard of it. And Intel's RealSense tech has been knocking around for several years now, popping up in odd tech demo use cases like inserting your face into a game which is called Fallout 4, and more useful ones like unlocking a laptop with Windows Hello. Now, Intel does suggest that this new application of RealSense could be used in a variety of settings, like ATMs, registers, and smart locks. What the company doesn't mention, though, is the other popular use of facial recognition: governments and law enforcement agencies tracking and profiling people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, again, facial recognition throughout the years has been under a lot of fire. Who can use it and who shouldn't use it? That's number one. Number two, we're looking at facial recognition when it comes to your phone. Now, when you unlock your phone, you're using facial ID, Face ID. And a lot of people are saying, okay, 100%, but where is this information going? A lot of ins and outs when it does come to facial recognition, just like your biometrics when you use that fingerprint scanner. But I want to know your guys' thoughts. 4215 Durat Salat.
Let us know, share your thoughts with us. Coming up on the show, we're talking all about Facebook removing its like button from all public pages. Are they choosing to change the algorithm? This is something that we're going to be tackling in just a few moments.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Facebook is making headlines, and it's been a while since Facebook has made headlines, but recently it's always been associated with WhatsApp, simply because they have recently changed their privacy measures and they've decided to include Facebook in all of our private conversations when it comes to WhatsApp. But today, they're making headlines because they have decided to remove the like button from all of their public pages.
Yes, now aiming towards simplifying its overall design for the users, the social media giant Facebook has dropped the like button from all of its public pages, which are generally used by public figures, artists, brands, and even social media influencers. Now, according to a post, in a move towards helping users connect with different artists and brands in an easier manner, Facebook pages will now only show the number of followers along with a dedicated newsfeed section for users to join conversations, interact, and engage with others. Now, Omnia, when we're looking at Facebook, we're looking at Facebook as a big platform. Now,
yes,
we do know that social media in general has been influencing a lot of good and a lot of bad things. Now, when we're talking about social media, the past week, now let's go and start from January 1st, 2021. Now, we do know that in the United States, the U.S. Capitol was invaded by protesters and rioters who wanted to bid a what do they call it? A riot because they didn't want U.S. President Donald Trump to lose
leave.
the election. Yes. And we're seeing that social media was used to kind of promote this into a way to stop the verification or the validity of President-elect Joe Biden today on that day.
Yes, indeed. But now we're looking at social media platforms trying to fight this. So they started out by banning Donald Trump off of platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, you name it. He's been banned off of all of them, and Twitter has actually decided to extend that indefinitely. But now I think that their move to remove the like button off of public pages is to basically decrease from the comparison aspect.
Not only that, but the influential aspect as well. Now, if I say, for example, bananas are bad for you, and 30,000 people agree with me, maybe a lot of people are going to say, maybe bananas are bad for me.
True.
Now, don't look at it as the exact concept that bananas are bad for me, but let's look at a bigger picture, a political standpoint, for example. And that could influence the mindset of a lot of people to say, hey, maybe that person is right, and 30,000 people agree with that person, so Hanny's a bad person.
True. And the thing is, the posts that get more likes would get more exposure.
Exactly.
So that caused a lot of people to try and just basically create content that would fish out a lot of likes rather than content that was truly inspirational or that was truly beneficial for their followers. Now, Facebook did announce in a blog post that they were going to basically be removing the likes and focusing on followers instead, in an aim to simplify the way that people connect with their favorite pages. unlike likes, having the algorithm be dependent on the number of followers that a certain page has basically represents the people who can go ahead and receive updates from these pages, which will help give every public figure who has a Facebook page a stronger indication of their fan base.
Now, I do like the concept of removing likes when it does come to public figures, but I think the Facebook community in general, now we're talking about public figures only. This option should be for public figures only, a dislike button. Now, agree and disagree. Now, people kind of use the like button as an agree. I agree with you.
And if they don't agree, they just don't like.
They just don't like. But at the same time, you don't know how many people don't agree with that person or disagree with that person. That's why I believe when it comes to a public figure profile, a like and dislike. I like what this person's talking about. I do not like what this person is talking about. To kind of reduce the influence, it does come with Facebook.
I like this idea. It's definitely a different concept. I never thought of having.
Mark Zuckerberg, you know my number. You know where to find me. I want to share.
I was just going to say, Mark Zuckerberg, if you're tuning in, Hani has got a new update for you for Facebook public pages. Now, the new update where they will be removing the like button off of public pages will gradually be rolled out to all public pages officially in the coming months. So you still have some time to give out your likes. But last year in July, Facebook was actually also spotted testing out a new design for pages, which did include removing the like button so they can have a much cleaner design, much more minimalist format for these pages. So after all, analysts do know what they're talking about, and when they follow up on all of those social media platforms and Apple and Samsung, there is some good that comes out of it.
Yes, indeed. Now, 4215 do or on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. What do you think about Facebook removing the likes on public figure profiles? Are you with it or against it? We're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking about the new social media app or messaging app that is going to kick WhatsApp right off the charts.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
I must say the app we're talking about today has a very weird name for it being a social media platform, because when I first heard of it, all I thought of is the toothpaste.
Yes,
Toothpaste
indeed.
brand named Signal.
Yes, indeed. Now, same thing. When I read Signal or I heard the word Signal, I thought about toothpaste. I'm like, why is that somebody asking me about toothpaste? But it turns out that Signal is coming with a strong signal and it might even kick off WhatsApp from the charts, as it is in a race to be the most used messaging platform in the world.
I feel like ever since 2020, some apps have been lucky enough to boom in the App Store within minutes. We started out with Zoom. Within 3 months, I think it was one of the most downloaded apps in the world. And now Signal is slowly climbing that ladder because it has recently topped the free apps category on the App Store, beating WhatsApp in the UAE and even in different countries around the world.
Yes, indeed. Now, Signal has climbed to the top spot in the free apps category of the App Store in multiple countries, even including India. Now, the official Twitter handle of Signal has shared a screenshot showing it placed above WhatsApp at the top spot in India. And it said, "Look what you have done." Now, along with India, it became the top downloaded app in Germany, France, Austria, Finland, Hong Kong, and even Switzerland. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're probably wondering, what's so special about Signal? Why are people opting for it instead of WhatsApp? Well, ever since the terms and conditions that has been updated for the year 2021 on WhatsApp, which kind of gave Facebook a window to look at all your messages that are no longer encrypted, a lot of people are talking about privacy concerns. And the world's richest man, the multi-billionaire Elon Musk, tweeted, "Don't use WhatsApp, use Signal as it is more safe." Now, we do know that Elon Musk's influence is out of this world, literally. And anything he says, whether it's in the stock market, whether it's political, or even if it has something to do with an app on the App Store, it does gain a lot of attention and a lot of traction.
The question is, will one tweet from Elon Musk be enough to help Signal dethrone WhatsApp as the messaging app of choice for many people around the world? Now, as you've mentioned, Hani, ever since WhatsApp launched their brand new terms and conditions, which Mark Zuckerberg did come out and say that they were not giving access to private information, but the way the terms and conditions are phrased does make it seem like they would. A lot of people have been flocking and downloading Signal. Now, to be honest, Signal does have hope when it comes to privacy. I believe it's a lot more private than WhatsApp. As you've mentioned, WhatsApp is no longer encrypted. That's a big issue, since that means that your messages could have and could be read by third parties. But also, Signal has a lot of features, one of them being the ability to blur people's faces in photos, having to enter a PIN number every time you use the application. But at the same time, people can see it both ways. Does this mean it's a lot harder to send messages fast enough when you're in a hurry? Now, Tesla CEO Elon Musk has been telling a lot of his followers to go ahead and use the app Signal. My question is he planning to invest in Signal, which might be one of the reasons why he wants people to go ahead and download the app?
I think at this point, whether or not he invests, it doesn't really matter to him, as he is the world's richest man. But we're going to look at it at two different points of views right now. Now, we're looking at it as a privacy concern. Yes, WhatsApp has been under fire, especially because it is owned by Facebook. And we do know that Facebook has a lot of privacy concerns. Now, the thing is that obviously we do know that a lot of people around the world use WhatsApp, whether it's young, old, or middle age. And Elon Musk, I'm looking at it from the point of view that, yes, he does want things to be more safe and more encrypted, especially someone who is the world's richest man. He needs to communicate with his business partners in a way which he does not want to use WhatsApp anymore, as it is not as safe.
True.
And again, you want to be safe when you're talking about millions and millions of dollars being transactioned. Now, the real question is, the question of the hour is, will Signal dethrone or kick off WhatsApp from the charts? My opinion, no.
No?
No, WhatsApp is not going anywhere. Again, Omnia, for the people who know what Signal is and who knows what it does, privacy, yes, 100%, yes. There will be a big majority that will use Signal, 100%. But we're looking at, again, at the people who don't care whether or not their information is being shared. They're not talking about a lot of things or things that make sense or are important for it, whether or not to be shared. Okay, Facebook wants to sell my information to marketers, go right ahead.
They've always been doing it. We can't deny. I mean, we just recently found out about it. But the thing is, it's not just about the chats. So as far as of today, they're saying that our chats are safe. But the issue is, WhatsApp is also asking for other content and information on our phone. So they're asking for, let's say, battery level, service status. They're going to be having access to phone numbers that are part of your contact list. Your mobile,
so is Signal.
So is Signal, but at the same time, there's much more privacy embedded within it. I know, before we fight over which app is going to be winning people's hearts, let's give the people a little bit of a background on how Signal works. It's pretty much very similar to WhatsApp. The minute you download it, it is based on your phone number. It'll send you an OTP. You go ahead and you type it in. You create your very own PIN number, and you can go ahead, do video calls on Signal. And it's not blocked right here in the UAE. You can share photos. You can share videos. You can basically message people just like you would on WhatsApp. But to me, the format feels a little bit more similar to iMessages than it does to WhatsApp. There is also the feature of being able to blur people's faces and the concept of having to enter a PIN number every time you use it. I do feel like there is a chance for Signal to win the charts, simply because we've seen it with Zoom. You know, Skype used to be very well known. If you would have told someone a few years ago that people were going to be using Zoom over Skype, they would have said, well, you know, you're crazy.
Now, Omnia, you have a great point. Now, again, talking about WhatsApp, we're looking at a different demographic, 100%.
True.
Now, for me as a young adult, again, as an adult, no, I'm not young adult, as an adult, looking at WhatsApp, I don't share information that really matters to anyone. Or, okay, they can take my IP address, my diagnostic data, my profile picture and name. Well, my profile picture and name is on thousands of other platforms, hundreds of other platforms. So it doesn't really matter for me whether or not they're going to take this information to market to me, because I don't really use WhatsApp. Again, WhatsApp is being shown, and the papers are being shown that, hey, they take your information. There's a lot of other platforms that you use every day that does the same thing, but it hasn't been under fire because it's not the most popular. Again, I'm looking at it from a demographic use. I don't think my 80-year-old grandpa cares whether or not WhatsApp is taking the information. And he's got to continue using it because, again, it has been embedded into his life. And maybe, let's talk about 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years, if Signal gets that takeoff, and a lot of people are opting to start, again, using Signal and creating creating groups and doing this and that. But again, I don't think WhatsApp is going anywhere. It might just be a slight decline. And this is my opinion on it. I don't feel like anything will happen to WhatsApp. A lot of people use WhatsApp, and the older generation are in love with WhatsApp. They use video calls, voice notes. It's just they're more used to it. And when you're used to something, it's very hard to break off that habit. And again, I just don't think that incentive of your information being secure is enough for people to go and make that switch.
Well, our text lines are open. 4215, do it this a lot, or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. Let us know. Are you willing to leave WhatsApp to download Signal so that your privacy would not be breached? Let us know your thoughts. But coming up on the show, we're talking all about Apple launching a brand new gadget, thinner, lighter, low-cost iPad in 2021.
Gadget of the day.
New tech you might want to play with.
Pulse 95.
Now, we've seen kind of a trend when it comes to Apple iPhones and it becoming more low cost for a different type of demographic when it comes to people who don't want to pay the top dollar for the iPhone 12 and the 12 Pros. But now we're seeing the same type of trend with the iPads because Apple is going to launch a thinner, lighter, low-cost iPad in 2021.
Yes, indeed. So finally, Apple is actually adjusting to its conscious budget or budget-conscious customers. And according to many websites that tend to follow up on Apple, see what they're up to, the upcoming iPad will be basically having the same exact body, the same exact look, but it will include the latest generation iPad Air 3 with no design changes. The display size on the new iPad is also going to remain the same. It will be at 10.2 inches. However, it will be significantly thinner than the iPad Air at 6.3 millimeters.
Yes, now the new iPad is also expected to be lighter at 460 grams, 30 grams less than the 490 grams of the current one. Now the device will continue to feature a Touch ID home button and a Lightning port, with Apple even declining to transition to the USB-C, which in my opinion is even much, much better. Now it's also expected to have a full lamination display, an anti-reflective coating, P3 wide color support, and True Tone. Now again, iPads are becoming very, very, very not a luxury, again, a need, because obviously we are in the COVID-19 pandemic. And again, social distancing and e-learning has become a top priority. And a lot of children are using their iPads and devices and gadgets a lot more now because obviously they are working or they are studying from home. So having a low-cost iPad will opt more parents and more teachers to kind of push for that iPad ideology. Now again, I've had an iPad. I've had two iPads, and both of them were great. Now, again, the price point for these iPads have yet to kind of be confirmed, but they are suggesting that it may start at around $300, and it is currently the normal iPad is around $330.
Yes, indeed. Now, a lot of suggestions of different reports are saying that they may be starting the memory at 64 gigabytes rather than the 32 gigabytes that is offered currently. But let us know your thoughts. Have your children or your siblings been more inclined to using iPads instead of computers or laptops when accessing their distance learning classes? Our text lines are open. 4215, do it a lot, or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. Future Talk is coming to an end.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.